Hi everyone, my name is Inazad and today is day 7 of our English stories. So, today's story is Tyrannosaurus Drip. This story is written by Julia Donaldson and David Roberts. I think some of you might have heard about these writers, but for some, these are some new authors. So, let's read. Tyrannosaurus Drip. In a swamp beside a river where the land was thick with veg, lived a herd of duck-billed dinosaurs who roamed the water's edge. And they hooted up with rivers, and they hooted up with reeds, and they hooted up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds. So, these dinosaurs are called duck-billed dinosaurs, and they really love weeds. Okay, let's say. Now across the rushy river on a hill the other side lived a mean Tyrannosaurus with his grim and grisly bride. And they shouted up with hunting, and they shouted up with war, and they shouted up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaurs. But the two Tyrannosaurus, so grisly, mean, and grim, couldn't catch the duck-billed dinosaurs 'cause they couldn't swim. And they muttered down with water, and they muttered down with wet, and they muttered what a shame that British aren't invented yet. So the T-Rexes shouted that they liked hunting and war, and they also liked bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur. But they couldn't swim 'cause there was a river in between. That's why the two Tyrannosaurs just couldn't reach the weeds. So there was a river in between, and the T-Rexes, as you all know, can't swim. All of the duck-billed dinosaurs and a few other dinosaurs like Spinosaurus and Lizardosaurus can swim, but the T-Rexes, which are one of the ancestors or maybe in the generation of lizards, they can't swim. And some of them are muttering, "What a shame that bridges aren't invented yet." Poor little T-Rexes. Hooray for the duckbills. Now a little clumsy catness, but for short we'll call her Cup, found a duckbill egg and stole it from a nest beside the swamp. And she swam with it, and she ran with it, and murmured, "Clever me!" And won't the baby comes be true for duckbill, the egg for tea? Tea! She dropped the egg in terror and went running for her life from the mean Tyrannosaurus and his grim and grisly wife. The leg went rolling and at last came to rest in all of my unlikely places in the T-Rex nest. Now the mother T has great big jaws and great enormous legs, but her brain was rather little, and she couldn't count her eggs. And she sang out on my terrors with your scaly little tails, and your spiky little tooties, and your scary little nails. So, there was a dinosaur who was called the Compsognathus. She stole an egg from Duckbill's nest. She swam with it, she ran with it, she thought, "My babies will love this egg for breakfast." But instead of saying breakfast, she said tea, and tea means T-Rex. So she dropped the egg in so much horror, and she ran, that she was made out of meat, obviously, and the T-Rexes love meat. So, obviously she ran for her life from that mean Tyrannosaurus and his grim, grisly wife. So that duckbill egg rolled and rolled and rolled, and it ended up in the T-Rex's nest. And the mother T-Rex, the mother T, had great big teeth and great enormous legs. But her brain was a bit small because she couldn't count her eggs. Because if she would be able to count her eggs, she would have known that one egg is extra. She said, out, my little babies, with your little tails and your little tooties and your scary little nails. So she's admiring them. Who knows why? She's too much proud of them. Let's see what happens next. Out hatched babies number 1 and 2, as perfect as could be. But Mother T was horrified by baby number 3. And she grumbled he looks weedy, and she grumbled he looks weak, and she grumbled what long arms, and look his mouth is like a beak. So she didn't know that one of the eggs was a duck-billed dinosaur's egg. And when baby number 3 hatched, she didn't even know that it wasn't a T-Rex. She literally thought that this is my baby. But she did take out all the, the she found out there were no necessities that should be in a T-Rex. He had a long mouth that was like a beak. He had a long arms, and he was a bit weedy. Cause big dinosaurs like weeds, weedy, the same thing. He just needs feeding up, said Dad, and gave the baby some meat. The first to go and guzzled, but the third refused to eat. And he said, I'm really sorry. And he said, I simply can't. And he said, this meat looks horrible. I'd rather eat a plant. And the Deadpool dinosaurs eat plants, so obviously he wouldn't eat meat. His dad looks so angry, his mother looks so worried. I don't know what will happen next. Plant! Yelled Mum and her, and Dad said, get a grip. His sisters found a name for him, Tyrannosaurus Drip. And they shouted up with hunting, and they shouted up with war, and they shouted up with bellyfuls of Deadpool dinosaur. Poor Tyrannosaurus Drip tried hard to sing along, but the others yelled, you silly Drip, you got the words all wrong. For he hooted down with hunting, for he hooted down with war, for he hooted down with bellyfuls of Deadpool dinosaur. So all these dinosaurs are thinking, what a plant? And his dad said, obviously, get a grip. His sisters found a name for him, a nickname for him exactly, and his name was turned into Tyrannosaurus Drip. And the previous song with the T-Rex is saying, up with hunting, up with war, and up with bellyfuls of dinosaur. The bull dinosaur. But Tyrannosaurus Drip couldn't stick in tune, cause he hooted down and hunting down and what in the bellyfuls of Jackal dinosaur. So he literally hooted the very wrong way. Look at them going crazy, and walking through like crazy. Alright, let's check what happens next. Drip's sisters soon grew big enough to hunt with Mom and Dad, but they turned on Drip and told him he's not fierce enough to come. And he cried, they've gone with Daddy, and he cried, alack-a-day, and he cried, it doesn't feel like home, I'm going to run away. Poor Tyrannosaurus Drip thought, they left me. Because his sisters were big enough to hunt Dad and Mom, they were really bullying sisters, and they said, you're not fierce enough to come. And he didn't feel that this is home, and he said, I'm going to run away. And you can see the little calm who's still afraid of T-Rexes away. Let's check what happens next. So he ran up to the river where he saw a lovely sight. A herd of big dinosaurs all hooting with delight. They hooted up by rivers, and they hooted up by reeds, and they hooted up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds. So they really like juicy water weeds and reeds and rivers. And he ran up to the river where he saw all these dinosaurs. As he stood there on a bank, a sudden urge took hold of him, and he jumped into the water and discovered he could swim. And the duckbills came to greet him at the river's rushy edge, and they hooted, nice to see you, and they hooted, have some veg. So this is a duckbill dinosaur, but he still doesn't know that he can swim, and he is actually not a T-Rex, but a duckbill dinosaur. All the other duckbill dinosaurs came to greet him and they said, have some veg, and nice to see you, have some veg. And Drip, who was delighted that they hadn't run away, ate bellyfuls of water. We can play with them all day. Then he gets into the river and he asks him, oh, who is that creature in the water? And they laughed and said, it's you. So Jip was very happy because he found the other dinosaurs. And when he found the other dinosaurs, that they also eat the same things as him, so they ate with him and taught him all the things he needed for his life. Then one day he looked into the river and saw his reflection, but he didn't know that it was really a reflection of himself, and he asked, who is that creature in the water? And they said, it's you, it's your reflection. That night the lightning crackled, and the storm blew down a tree, and it fell across the river, and the trees cried out, yippee! And they shouted upward hunting, and they shouted upward war, and they shouted upward bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur. So the duck-billed dinosaurs are in great danger because the lightning cracked and the storm blew down a tree. And the T-Rexes are now able to cross the river and now hunt down the duck-billed dinosaurs free. Drip's sisters stepped onto the bridge but then began to frown, for there in front of them stood Drip and yelled, look down, look down! And they looked into the water and they each yelled out a yelp! And one cried, water monsters! And the other one cried, help! So Drip was very smart because yesterday he asked his friends, who is that creature in the water? And he said, it's you! So Drip was very smart and said, look down into the river. The Drip sisters thought they were water monsters and they cried out, help! Okay. Their mother scolded nonsense and she joined them on the tree. Then she looked into the water and exclaimed, good gracious me! The three of them trembling, but that's a get a grip. You're all of you as drippy as Tyrannosaurus Drip. He stood in the bear and scoffed about nothing there. Then he looked into the water and jumped into the air. He was so scared that he jumped into the air. And the mom was so scared she said, good gracious me! Oh my god! Drip is going to fool them all. I have that kind of feeling. And how the duckbill tooted when he landed with the crash and the tree bridge broke and four Tyrannosauruses went splash! So that was so heavy that all of them would splash into the river and they couldn't swim. Oh dear, they couldn't swim. A spluttering and clinging in the branches of the tree, they went whooshing down a waterfall all the way to sea. And the duckbills hooted happily, and they hooted hip hip hip, and they hooted for the heroic, and they said hooray for the heroic one and only duckbill Drip. So Tyrannosaurus Drip name was changed from T-Rex Drip to duckbill Drip because he was their hero, or they would be bellyfuls of duck. Thank you, and this is the end of our story, Tyrannosaurus Drip. This story is especially for young readers, but anybody can watch it if anybody wants. So the summary of the story is, when Tyrannosaurus Drip lands in the wrong nest, don't be fooled by his size. He may be small and weedy, but he is also brave and clever. This complete original stories and of this favorite picture book has been redesigned to support children who are growing in reading confidence. So, whoever wants to see this, okay? Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Let's see you in the next video.